One night in 1941, a powerful German leader disappeared. Hours later, he crash-landed in enemy territory, completely alone. No one sent him. No one was expecting him. Not even Adolf Hitler knew about this. So the question is, why did Rudolf Hess risk everything to do this? Rudolf Hess was not an ordinary man. He was one of the most powerful people in Germany at the time. He worked very closely with Adolf Hitler and was considered his trusted deputy. In simple terms, he was among the top leaders running the country during World War II. But by 1941, things were changing. His influence was slowly decreasing, and other leaders were becoming more powerful than him. Still, someone at his level would never take a huge risk alone. He had power, status, and everything to lose, which is why what he did next shocked the entire world. On the evening of May 10, 1941, Rudolf Hess made a decision that would change everything. Without telling anyone, he took off in a military aircraft from Germany. The sky was getting dark. There was no escort, no backup, just him flying alone. He followed rivers and coastlines to guide himself, quietly moving across Europe, trying to avoid detection. Soon he reached the open sea. Below him nothing but darkness. Above him a cold, empty sky. This wasn't a short flight. He was traveling nearly 1,000 miles, completely alone. As the hours passed, fuel started running low, but he kept going. Finally, late at night, he reached Scotland. By now, the situation was critical. His fuel was almost gone. He had no choice. He jumped. Parachuting down into the darkness, he landed hard in a quiet field. Injured, but alive. Behind him, the aircraft crashed and burst into flames. A powerful leader, now alone in enemy territory, and no one knew why he was there. After landing in Scotland, something even stranger happened. Rudolf Hess didn't try to hide or escape. Instead, he calmly asked the locals to contact the Duke of Hamilton, a prominent British aristocrat. Why the Duke? He claimed the Duke was part of a secret group in Britain that wanted peace, and that Hess had an important message to deliver. Here's the shocking part. The Duke had never met Hess in his life, but Hess was convinced this meeting could stop the war, or at least create a peace deal on Germany's terms. Imagine it, a top Nazi leader in enemy territory trying to negotiate peace all on his own. British authorities were baffled. This was not the behavior of a typical prisoner of war. Hess insisted he came alone. He denied anyone in Germany had ordered him, and yet he carried a plan that could have changed the course of the war if anyone had taken him seriously. At this moment it became clear to everyone watching. Something was very, very wrong. Now comes the part that has puzzled historians for decades. Why did Rudolf Hess really fly into enemy territory alone? Some believe Hess had simply lost touch with reality. By 1941, his influence in Germany had declined. He was known to follow astrology, mystical ideas, and personal visions. Perhaps he genuinely thought he could bring peace without consulting anyone. Another idea is far more shocking. Hess didn't act alone at all. Some claim Adolf Hitler secretly approved the mission. Hess would try to negotiate with Britain, and if he failed, Germany could deny all involvement. Some say Hess was manipulated from the start. British intelligence may have tricked him, giving false hope of a willing contact in Britain. Could the Duke of Hamilton himself have been part of the setup? If so, Hess was walking straight into enemy hands, believing he was on a noble mission. No one really knows which of these is true, or maybe it's a combination of all three. After his crash landing, Rudolf Hess was immediately arrested by British authorities. He was no longer a powerful deputy in Germany. Now he was just a lone prisoner in enemy hands. Imagine the fall of a man who once stood at the right hand of Adolf Hitler, now trapped, powerless, and desperate. Even decades later, no one knows the full truth about that night in 1941. What do you think? Was Hess a hero, a madman, or something in between? Comment your theory below, because the story isn't over yet.